What up, House of the Dragon, Seven and Kingdoms more channel fans? Thanks for coming to this video, guys. I put in some work to this one. I got 5 predictions for you today. I think at least 3 to 4 are going to come true. I definitely took some bold predictions on this one, but again, guys, this is going to contain season 2 spoilers. For the last prediction today, guys, I will only be adding an image in and will not discuss it too much. I'm trying not to spoil the super important content like I did with Blood and Cheese for the episode 1 prediction. Again, please find the sources in the description. And again, if you do not want to be spoiled, please watch this after the episode. And also give my Dance of the Dragons geography videos parts 1 and 2 a watch. I did a prediction video, and the map was pretty right. I said this was what the map would look like after episode 3, and I would say it's almost exactly spot on, so I'm kind of proud of myself there. And I think that's it. But after episode 4, we will see a pretty big shift in the map. So that's something to look forward to today, guys. There's going to be a shift in what faction owns what kind of land in Westeros. And anyways, guys, before we get into it, please like and subscribe if you can. And let's get into it. The first part is, how did I do last week on the Burning Mill? Well, I do owe you guys 1 beer drink through that 1 full beer. And guys, I'm not sponsored by Hagershore. My dream is to, oh, it's covering up. I don't think you can see it very clearly, but my dream here is to be sponsored by this delicious German beer, Hagershore. Highly recommend it. But yeah, let's see what I got. The Bracken Blackwood rivalry correct. I got that one right. Daemon taking over Harrenhal correct. I got Aemond and Kristen on the march towards Rosby, Stokeworth, and Duskendale correct. I said Ulf the White and Hugh the Hammer would leave King's Landing due to Aegon's poor rule. You saw Ulf the White, but that one was wrong because they never left King's Landing. And I did get Rhaena was with the 3 eggs and her going off with Joffrey and Viserys and Aegon to the Val and then to Pentos. The only thing I got wrong there was they didn't get betrothed. Sorry, guys, this is a dark medieval world, and I thought they would get betrothed, even though Joffrey's like 12 years younger than Rhaena in the show. But majority of that I got right, so I put it right. I put it correctly. So again, 3 out of 4 is how I did. Owe you 1 beer throughout this, guys. Let's get into it. All right, prediction 1. Aegon and Alicent discuss the plan for war and the general future. So definitely always recommend reading the quotes. That one's cool. Again, guys, that quote is actually much before this all happens. That was during the Green Council. But before I get into the prediction, I wanted to share this quote with you all because I think it does a good job at describing Sunfire, and this is something the show did not give to us. In the books, after Aegon is coronated, he mounts Sunfire and flies him around King's Landing a few times, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of sad we didn't get to see that. Additionally, Sunfire is said to be the most beautiful dragon, and this is why Aegon has a golden dragon on a green background for his sigil, the grains with the green background, and then Sunfire is representative of the dragon on his sigil. And one last thing, we actually do see Sunfire in season 1, episode 7. If you want to go back to that, that's Laena's funeral at the beginning of the episode. The episode. You do see a glimpse of Sunfire. And another quick fun fact about Sunfire in the books is it is said that he grew up very quickly, and at this time he would be about 20 to 22 years old. However, from book canon, we can assume he would be larger than most other 20 to 23-year-old dragons. So when Aegon says in season 2, episode 1, mine are bigger, referring to his dragons, he may not actually be entirely incorrect because he is Vhagar, and Sunfire's probably honestly the size of Syrax. So they got big dragons, and Elena has Dreamfire, and Tessarion's pretty big too with Darren and Old Town. So yeah. All right, but let's get into the first prediction, guys. So I'm trying to make this under 15 minutes. I don't know if it's going to happen today. But my first prediction here is essentially Alicent and Aegon will have a meeting somewhere in the Red Keep about what Kristen and Aemond are doing. It will be heated, is my guess, and Alicent will probably mock Aegon like she normally does, which I think is kind of funny. My guess is that this will get Aegon angry and make him act impulsively. Additionally, I believe Aegon will mention something around how he is just as fierce as Aemond, because we saw that in episode 1, that he's just as fierce as all of them. That's a direct Aegon quote. And again, this heated conversation about what Aemond and Kristen are doing will make Aegon, again impulsively, go to the dragon pit and mount Sunfire to take into battle. For now, that is all I will say regarding this prediction. So again, summarizing this prediction, Aegon and Alicent will have a heated conversation about him being a bad ruler, and this will anger Aegon, causing him to get Sunfire and take him into battle. So that is prediction one. Let's do a little beer sip, ladies and gents. And let's get into prediction two. So, classic. Daemon plots with Sir Simon Strong and takes Riverrun. So, my second prediction here will be around Daemon plotting with Sir Simon Strong to finally put an entire chokehold on the Riverlands. This part regarding Riverrun is not exactly book canon, but it kind of is, as you can see from the second and third quotes on page 414. However, my prediction here is that after plotting with Simon Strong, Daemon will fly to Riverrun and demand that the Lord Paramount of the Trident bend the knee to Rhaenyra and the Blacks. The reason I believe this will happen is because they continue to mention Lord Grover Tully, and it makes sense because Game of Thrones fans know Riverrun and the Tullys, so I do think they're going to bring the Tullys into this episode potentially. And if I'm wrong, I feel like it might be next episode. But there is that clip of Damon in one of the trailers saying like it's something along the lines of he's on top of cracks and he's like bend the knee and like swear your fealty to Rhaenyra or you will burn. I think that's going to be at Riverrun, guys. I'm feeling good about this one. So Daemon and Simon will call the Riverlords to Harrenhal during this time. While that is occurring, Daemon, I think, will fly to Riverrun to force the Tullys into submission. In the book, Riverrun stayed neutral for much longer. They did eventually join the Blacks, but in the show, I think Daemon will force them to bend the knee with Caraxes rather than allowing them to bar their gates and hide until they make a decision, like you see on that quote, that last quote on page 414. And the castle, guys, obviously to my left is Riverrun, which we saw on the show when I think we see multiple times in Game of Thrones, but Jaime and Ron go to Riverrun to take it back from the Blackfish. So that is Riverrun. It's on the Red Fork. So that's fun. But let's get into prediction three. So, prediction three, I think this is my boldest one, guys. Adam of Hull claims Sea Smoke, and Hugh the Hammer's family dies. All right, again, I think these are some pretty strong, good quotes, so I do recommend you guys giving these a read. My third prediction is a two-parter, both involving the dragon seeds. So for Hugh the Hammer, I did not have a quote here because I do not believe he will claim his dragon until later episode. Will not tell you what dragon he claims in this video, but later on. However, I do think Hugh's family, especially definitely his daughter, will die of some sickness or in some other horrendous way, and this will cause Hugh to leave King's Landing and go to Dragonstone, where he will then later claim a dragon. Again, will not spoil the dragon he will claim, but Hugh will claim a dragon. I think this is also where we'll see Hugh become more malicious and angrier, which will illuminate to more of his book character. But again, more to come on Hugh in later prediction videos. But basically, the show is making Hugh a little bit lighter. In the books, he's kind of like an angrier person, to say the least, to put it in simplistic terms. So the first quote is referring to the red sowing when the dragon scenes start to get their dragons, as you see on that from the page 442 quote. However, I do think they will push up Adam getting Sea Smoke earlier, since we have seen Sea Smoke's dismay and the connection that he and Adam already may be building. And the second quote shows the difference between the book and the show. Adam and Alan are older in the show, and as we can see in the next quote, it seems that their father was Laenor Velaryon and not Corlys. Although we know in the show and books that Laenor was gay and did not conceive with Rhaenyra, it does seem possible that they are the children of Laenor, and personally, I think this would make much more sense because Corlys has no Targaryen blood, where Laenor does from Rhaenys. Rhaenys is Laenor's mom, and she's a Targaryen. However, I do think in the show, guys, this is the caveat, they may clarify to nerds like me that maybe all people from Old Valyria have the capability of riding dragons. This would mean that Corlys's children, Adam and Alan in the show, could also claim dragons. I do hope they make this clear, though, in the show, because it's kind of confusing, because I still don't get if they're Corlys's bastards, how could they're not Targaryens, and Targaryens claim dragons, so I want to see the difference between Old Valyria and versus, can anyone from Old Valyria, like the Celtigars or the Velaryons, claim dragons versus just Targaryens, so I think they really need to elaborate on that personally. But another possibility would be that their mother, Marilda, was somehow a Targaryen bastard because there are so many Targaryens on Dragonstone, Driftmark, and King's Landing from, like 50 AC till now. But again, I hope they clarify all these questions around how Adam could claim sea smoke. But again, my prediction here is Adam claims sea smoke and Hugh's family dies, forcing him to leave King's Landing. So that is my prediction 3. And with that comes a beer drink. All right, prediction 4. Let's get into it. Kristen takes over the Crown Lands from King's Landing to Rook's Rest. So you can see that map I got over there to your left. That's all that whole area will be claimed by the Greens, where it was originally the Blacks had that territory. So the Greens will claim all of pretty much the Crown Lands by the end of this episode. And again, highly recommend reading the quotes. I had the last 2 quotes in my last video, guys, but that third quote is pretty illuminating to what's going to happen. So prediction 4 will pretty much go straight into prediction 5. And my prediction here is that Kristen will continue to march northward, taking Rosby, Stokeworth, and Duskendale, and adding all those troops to his army. Essentially, by the end of this episode, the Greens will have the Crown Lands thanks to Cole's swift advance. So Kristen might suck as a person and be a bad Lord Commander and Hand of the King, but he's actually a pretty effective military commander, ironically. So, I mean, I like that. They're not just making him wildly incompetent, because that would just be stupid. On the right is the Staunton Sigil and Lord Staunton from the show. So remember, in the last episode, he asked Rhaenyra to go back to Rook's Rest to defend the castle, because at that point in time, the Blacks knew that Kristen Cole is on the march in the Crown Lands, thanks to that scene with Baela and Moondancer, which honestly I thought was the best scene from the last episode. That was a fire scene. Rhaenyra does tell Lord Staunton that he can go, so we can assume we will see Lord Staunton at Rook's Rest in this episode. And I will say the significant battle, again, this is leading to my last prediction, which I will be pretty brief on, guys, because I don't want to hard spoil, again, the very important stuff. I will say the significant battle in this episode will take place at Rook's Rest. It is about to get wild, ladies and gents. Let's just leave it at that, and let's go to the last prediction. Again, going to be pretty brief on this one, and I do need a big beer sip. Okay, so prediction 5, the battle at Rook's Rest. So, let me take a sip of this one real quick, guys. So the battle at Rook's Rest, you can see on the left, that is a Duskendale sigil, guys, and it looks like that's also a Stokeworth sigil maybe in the background, so they are definitely on Team Green by now. Kristen has control of that army. And on the right is a dead dragon, and there's a dead person. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, there's going to be a dragon battle, guys, so it's going to be pretty cool. It's probably going to be one of the main highlights of the whole show, I think. But again, that's all I'm going to say on this one, guys. And in this last 10 seconds, I'll finish the beer I owe you guys. But that's it for me today, guys. Look out for my season 2, episode 5 prediction. We'll get a little more into Hugh the Hammer, a little bit more into Adam Cole and all the dragon seeds. That'll be a fun thing to look forward to. But I think this episode, guys, is going to be the most action-based episode, and I'm really excited. I don't think there's going to be too much dialogue. I think it's going to be finally battle and wartime, and I could not be more excited. So, anyways, that being said, let's have some fun tonight.